Hello and welcome to this new refresher guide on how to use the screens. We're going to touch base on some new features, just a few reminders on how to use the basics, and just to get used to the overall flow of the screens and how to get used to them essentially. So let's get started with the basics first. There are three primary basics. The first one is being able to freeze the screen. Second is being able to restart the screen. And the third is the fact that you don't even need a remote to turn the screen on. So in terms of freezing the screen, in every classroom should be a remote. If there is not, let us know. And on the remote is a blue button. If you press that blue button, it freezes the screen. I like to associate it with being cold. And then obviously when you press the blue button again, it'll unfreeze whatever is on the screen. In terms of restarting the screen, underneath every screen, just to the right hand side near the middle, is almost like a rocker switch. If you turn it one side, you'll obviously turn it off, and then if you switch it back in the other way again, it'll turn it back on. The main reason why you might want to use this, not only just to, if the screen doesn't work, just to turn it on, but if you find that you don't get any audio. And what we found is that once the screens have been on for a while over time, it almost forgets how to spit out audio, and the only way that I know is to hard reset the screen. So with the rocker switch, turn it off and on, that should resolve that issue. And then in terms of being able to turn the screen on without a remote, you should have a HDMI cable at every desk. If you literally just plug it in, if the screen's black, if you just plug the HDMI in, the screen, few seconds, should just kick to life, and it should just be displaying either extend or duplicate what you've got on the screen. Back in 2019, when the screens were first unveiled as trials, when we got the first three, one of the priorities was, and still is, that it can't interrupt the flow of teaching, and needs to also needs to be almost a replica of what you had originally, just in a smarter way. And one of the selling features of this was the fact that obviously it's touchscreen, but there is a tool called Microsoft Whiteboard, and at the time Microsoft Whiteboard was something that we couldn't have because we weren't part of Office 365, but now we are, and it ties into a whole umbrella of products, and Microsoft Whiteboard is essentially a whiteboard. It allows you to do everything that you used to be able to do on a projector just on here. This is obviously the new gateway. You may have seen this, you may have not, but on the new gateway you will have a button here for whiteboard, or what we like to call the waffle, or as Microsoft likes to call the waffle. In the top left hand corner you have some dots. If you tap on that, you have a list of Office products. In the list you should see Whiteboard at the bottom. If you tap on that, Microsoft Whiteboard should load. It will ask you to sign in. It will load, and then it will give you a UI for all of your whiteboards that you may have made in the past. That's how you get there. So hopefully you've managed to find where whiteboard is, and then hopefully you have something similar to this in the background. So let's just start off really basic. You want a blank canvas. You have a class. You just want to write on a board. That isn't a whiteboard. If you just tap on the blue square here, new whiteboard, it will generate a completely blank canvas. Up here you have a selection of pens, highlighters, a ruler, a razor, and even a red pointer if you want that. You have a lasso to be able to draw around that, but I'll show you what that can do later on. On the left hand side here you have some other tools in terms of being able to write notes, text if you are on your laptop. You can draw shapes, and you can import images, and you can import documents. I will touch base on documents shortly, as I think that's something that a lot of you will be interested in. But if we just talk about the real core fundamentals here in terms of just using the board, so I'm just going to use my finger, but in every classroom should be a pen, and if there isn't, please let me know. But if you just tap on any of these, so I'm just going to tap on the pen, and if you tap on it again, you can adjust thickness and colour. So I'm going to change it to a slightly thinner one. Let's stick with black for now. And then from that point on, you can use this layout and basically, obviously, we tried out a different colour, orange my favourite. You got that. You got highlighters, and again, it's exactly the same thickness and colours. So you can highlight areas. Let's go real thick, and you can highlight areas. And then you got a ruler, so you can adjust and draw straight lines from that. Hide that. So everything is very much trial and error. You will have to get used to it. However, I think when you are used to it, it is very fluid and it is very quick. So I think the next thing to talk about probably is being able to import documents, how to write over documents, and all of that. So on the left hand side here you have, let's say if that was gone, you have an arrow, a pen, and a plus sign. The arrow lets you move around, it lets you zoom out, zoom in as much as you like. The pen brings this bar up here, and the plus sign brings the create bar to the side open. If you tap on documents, you'll get another box appear. Now, because this is an Office 365 product, this is where things like Teams, your Office account, your work Office account, and the gateway starts to get tied in with everything. So, in this box here, you have on the left hand side your personal files. That won't include your personal files on your device at the moment. When we move to OneDrive, then that will be the case. Recent is what you've opened in Teams and on the gateway, and then in quick access, you in the list here have all the groups you're part of within Microsoft Teams and the gateway, or like departmental owners. Here on the left, I have most gateway items, but then I also have two Microsoft Team tabs because I'm an owner of that group. If I click on that one, and you can see here you have what would be in that folder. So you have the folder, and then you have individual files. So if I want to import a document, for example, if we just close all of that, you go Documents, where you want to go, and then you tap on the document that you want to do. So I want to import an old PowerPoint as an example. When you tap Select, it will start importing the slides, or exporting the slides, and then when it loads, you'll be able to tap on the slides that you want to choose from. So if we just choose the end slide, questions, here you will be able to manipulate the item. So essentially it extracts the PowerPoint and almost represents it as a picture. So you can make it smaller, bigger, and then obviously you can zoom in yourself. Not that far, but you can zoom in yourself. And then from there, you can then start adding and writing text and highlighting and erasing if you want. So that's the basics on how to import the document and how to manipulate it. If you want to, it's probably a good idea if I show you what it looks like with multiple documents. So say if you wanted a whole slideshow. So for that, if I make a new whiteboard, so in the top left hand corner here, you have an icon as a home. I briefly touched on this, we're overlapping slightly, but I touched on this at the start. Because Whiteboard is a cloud product, anywhere that you go on any device, as long as you're logged in to your work account, you will see these items here. So say if you had a lesson on the Tudors, and then you had a lesson on World War II, but then you also, they would all be here, and then you wouldn't have to go back, recreate them, and all of that. So, new whiteboard, documents, and then select. Now I want to just put on the last 4 slides when they load. So that's what it would look like. And then from there, you can zoom in yourself. And then manipulate everything from there. So it is very customizable, and you can essentially, with a bit of tinkering, do what you could do on a whiteboard. So let's just write in the boxes here, your school email, at twineham, school.com. So that's how you import a document. I think the last few things that I wanted to touch on were very minor things. So one of them was being able to change the type of paper that you can use. So in the top right hand corner you have a cog, and then you can change format, background, you can change colour, but you can also choose blank, you've also got square paper, and then you've also got wide lined paper. I think they're probably the most beneficial, and then from there you could the man. So yeah, and then with square paper, because this is quite small, like I said earlier, you can zoom in and it makes it bigger, and then essentially you have almost what I would describe as an infinite whiteboard that never ends. So I hope that's been a beneficial gloss over what Whiteboard can do, and the screens in general. Obviously, you know, the screens can look amazing, like displaying a picture, watching a video in daylight, but actually being useful as a teaching tool has been quite hard to demonstrate until now. So hopefully this will be quite beneficial. Obviously, in all of the classrooms, there will still be a normal whiteboard to aid you, so you won't just be stuck with this. So it's all good. Any problems, just let me know, or drop me an email, or make a ticket, and the team and I can help you as much as possible. And yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, so it's a bit of a better start than what we had before. Okay, thank you very much. Cheers.